Hi and welcome to Normski TV. Been a couple of days since I've uploaded. Guys, I'm starting to get really frustrated with the state of Arsenal and in terms of players coming in and possibly players going. It's really hard to believe if we are going to get any players or not going to get any players, and whether we got money or not. There's talk that Arsenal came out and said that basically, Arsenal ain't got no money to spend this season. This is because of the COVID-19. Players have having to defer their wages or take a pay cut. The hierarchy taking a year's pay cut. And with no football in sight on the horizon, it's looking quite bleak when it comes to Arsenal and their transfer policy. And just reading another article here from the Mirror, stating that Arsenal, are in pretty much a financial crisis. They've only got something like £40 million to spend, and it's not a lot of money. What can 40 million buy you? What can 40 million buy you? Is that a Messi's boot? I just don't get Arsenal. I mean, we hear about them having money in their reserves, 200 million plus. And Arsenal not exactly a skint club. They've got money, all right. Granted, the COVID or the pandemic, whatever you want to call it, as hit a lot of clubs right across Europe, and a lot of teams are having to look at their transfer policy, and that could mean that most teams out there now will be looking to either preserve what they got, or if they're not going to go out, I don't think personally you're not going to see no big money signings, I just think that the players that you thought were going to go for big money, they're probably going to have their values cut by quite a lot. With the likes of clubs that may be take advantage of this is Newcastle, who are going to have new Saudi owners, and they're going to have a lot of money to spend, and their owners do have a lot of money, and that is really worrying for me because you've got a lot of clubs like Wolves, Leicester, that are up there and don't look like they're going to be coming down any soon. And Arsenal, where we're languishing in 9th place, we seem to be going the other way, both on the pitch and off the pitch. Stan Kroenke has come out and he's promised about, injecting money into. We still don't know what that money is and how much it is. Again, it's all a waiting game. And yeah, it's come out and they're saying that, we're the worst hit club, or called it them, because of this suspension of football. So players that we would like to have got, there's no chance of us getting them because our budget is going to be really, really tight this year. We're going to have to offload more players first before we can even think about going in and buying any players. And again, as I say, we're going to have to be picking and choosing. We're not going to be able to go to the top table or and pick the best player. It just ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen. We may have to sell our best player, which is Aubameyang. He hasn't still signed his contract. He's got a year left. When come the summer, he could possibly go on a free. Will Arsenal let him run down his contract and go on a free? They might cash in on him now, which is not going to be good because who are we going to find out there that can fill Aubameyang's boots? And if we are going to buy a player of his quality, possibly we'd want somebody, younger as well. We're going to be paying a lot of money. And I'm going to keep saying it, scratch record. Arsenal, please, please, please try and give Aubameyang the money, just because we really need him. Without him, we're just now right now. Do you know what I mean? And the thing about it, we would need to add quality players to our side. There are a lot of players that we need to offload because some of the players that we've got there are just not good enough. And they're saying that there's talk about some of the players that they would probably need to offload, because I know we're interested in Thomas Partey, and there's talk about Atletico Madrid may having to sell him because, you know, of the financial situation. And can Arsenal take advantage of that? You know, I think we put a bid in for 43 million, which is basically his buyout clause. Nothing has happened yet. We don't know whether talks have happened or not. His father's come out and said, yes, they have had advanced talks and there is a likelihood that he could come to Arsenal. But, you know, that's all been quashed. So we don't know what's going to be happening with Thomas Partey. But, you know, if that is the case, we will need to offload a load of players. And I said it in my last video that, you know, the likes of Lucas Torreira, we may have to sell him. Guendouzi, who hasn't really hit the ground running in terms of his position in that midfield. You know, you got Granit Xhaka. Will he stay? Will he go? You know, he's done well under Arteta since Arteta's come. But it seems as if we're offloading a load of players, maybe just to try and fund one player. And that ain't really good. The fact that we have to sell a load of players off, it just shows the quality of players that we have on our side. That the fact that we may have to get rid of 3 or 4 players just to try and get in one decent player, that ain't good enough. So it just shows the level at which Arsenal have fallen to in terms of the players that we have. And I've said it for a long time, we've got bang average players. You could probably count on one hand decent players that we have got, and one possibly world-class player in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Other than that, you know, we're having to scratch around, you know, and the fact that we have to sell more players, you know, just to try and fund a decent deal is just not good enough. We've got some good youngsters in the side, so maybe Arteta will need to probably look at the academy and look at those that are already playing in the side and try, you know, and not say get them up to speed, because, you know, these guys are doing well. The likes of Bukayo Saka, you know, Martinelli, you got Reece Nelson, you know, all these guys. You know, if we can get these guys playing and keep them as a core, then, you know, the future will look good for them and possibly for Arsenal. But we need to add quality players. And the problem is what you'll see over the last, say, 15 years, that teams that are being bought by rich owners normally go on and win the league. You look at Chelsea. They've been bought by Abramovich. They've gone on and won the league. Look how many times they've won it. The last time we won it was 2004. And our way of running the club, I get it. You know, those days it was all about what we got in rather than spending what we didn't have. It was what we take in terms of that. We were very prudent, but that doesn't seem to be working. What's the word I'm looking for? The way Arsenal run their club now compared to back then is a totally different game. The model that we're running now, where we want to be self-sufficient, just ain't happening. We need rich owners. Stan Kroenke is a rich owner, but he's a very stingy owner. And he just hasn't shown any, what I call, interest in the club. You know, as far as he's concerned, you know, when Wenger was in charge, as long as we got in the top 4, we was relying on Champions League money. You know, again, we've got the highest ticket prices in the country in terms of season tickets. You know, we have the highest in the world, and you know it's not good. And for the money that we're paying out, I mean, I don't personally go to the games, but for those that have season tickets, you know, it's unfair on them. You know, they're throwing in a lot of money, you know, but we ain't seeing any rewards. We ain't seeing anything on the pitch. And you know, Arsenal are a big club. You know, we're one of the biggest clubs in London, and we've got a big fan base. But Ninth place. Ninth place. Nah, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. So, the likes, if we are going to be offloading players, tell me who you think we should get rid of, in order to get in the likes of people like Thomas Partey. Who would you think could go, and who do you think we should bring in? We've still got the defence to be looking at. You've still got Mustafi there. You've got Socrates there. David Luiz there. Will we get Pablo Mari? I know he wants to stay. Will we get him and pay the 10 million that's being touted? You've got the other guy, who plays on right back, Suarez. Who's on loan from Southampton. Again, will we get him? I just don't know. There just doesn't seem to be any movement whatsoever. You got Lucas Kazawa, who's currently at PSG. There's talk that we are close to doing a deal with him, coming to us on a free for 5 years. I'd rather not take him because we have got the likes of Kieran Tierney in that position, and Biaka Saka can obviously fill that position. Kolasinac, he's always injured, so I don't know what's happening with that left back. Right back again, we've got Hector Bellerin there. We're going to need somebody to fill that role. Maybe, as I said, the Suarez guy from Cedric Suarez from Southampton, who's on loan to us. Maybe he's the one to come in and be the backup to Bellerin. But generally, Arsenal, it seems like we're not in a very good financial position at the moment. And this COVID-19 is not helping the situation. As I say, there's talks of, the teams playing behind closed doors, and it's going to be quite strange and surreal, this happening. But, I'm hearing a lot of pundits that are coming out, the likes of Gary Neville, Graham Souness have come out and saying things like, because I think the Premier League are looking at 10 neutral grounds, and whether that's going to happen or not, it may delay it because some clubs may feel that it's unfair. I don't know. Everything is so much up in the air. We're still no further forward into knowing when the Premier League will resume, and the longer it goes on, the chances are that we could end up seeing the Premier League cancelled. And fair enough, if it's cancelled, just like PSG in the Liga 1, they got the title. Just give it to Liverpool. I don't know. I just want to see football. At the end of the day, I just want to see football. I just pray and hope that Arsenal sort out their finances quick, because it doesn't look good. And, you've got the likes of Newcastle. You've got the likes of Wolves. You've got Leicester up there. If we're not careful, we could be left behind. And we could end up languishing in mid-table. And for a club our size, I'm not being disrespectful to any of those clubs that are currently above us, but we should be there in the top four. We should be competing. We're nowhere near Man City or Liverpool. We're a long way off that. We're light years off that. And if we're not spending, we're never ever going to catch them. And we need to basically pull our fingers out. And if not, then sell the club. I know you've got problems with your LA Rams or whatever they are in America. I think you tried to see if you could furlough them, and they're not accepting, or them taking a pay cut. They're not accepting it. So you've got problems of your own, but it's also affecting the Arsenal Football Club. So why not just sell Arsenal, get Dan Conte in, Nigerian billionaire. He loves Arsenal. He will probably put the money in and spend it. As I say, this whole pandemic thing has really, really messed up the finances right across world football, and it's going to take a long time before everything gets back to normal. So just want to finish off. Might be some real good news we're smiling about. I don't know if it's true. we heard about in the January that Mr. Ozil was gonna go to Fenerbache. It's come out again that they are working hard to try and sign him. The guy is currently on £350,000 a week. I don't think Fenerbahce can afford that, but according to them, they are looking to sign him. Trying to see who is reporting this, but they're saying that the 31-year-old is on £350,000 a week. It expires at the end of next season, and as they were saying that, you know, for what he's getting, he's been proper criticised. But it seems as if Fenerbahce, who tried to go for him, as I said earlier on in January, I think they are trying to go for him. I think in an interview with Sport X, the big Fenerbahce fan, Akon Ikali, if I can pronounce that, now claims that Ozil next move could take him to Turkey. Well, make sure it's this summer. That's all I'm saying. Make sure it's this summer. Free up the 350,000. Dash it over to Mr. Aubameyang, and let's get on with this. Listen, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll speak to you on the next one. Take care.